Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder. This is the show we talk about sports with comedians, and we have a great time. Let me bring in the first comedian up, Howie Bell. Howie, how you doing, bro?
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man?
I'm doing much better, doing much better. Thank you for
Good,
joining the show. I greatly appreciate that.
good, brother. It's all well.
My man, filmmaker Jason Hayes in the building. Jay, hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey, it's all good. What's up, Howard?
What up with your brother? How you doing, man?
Everything.
There you go.
So, real quick before we jump into the show, we got a couple of lineups of questions and stuff that we always normally do. I'm interested in one thing before we start, man, and I wanted to ask your opinion of it. I was too sick to join the show yesterday, as I told you guys anything else, but I really wanted to talk about this Shedeur Sanders situation and what your initial thoughts were, because I read, I did my little research on both sides of this thing, man, and I guess I'll express what I'm thinking after I hear you. How you go first, man? Tell me what your thoughts are on, because we've seen how the whole thing played out from Friday to Sunday. We've seen how, I mean, if you did your homework on this, or if you paid attention to it, you obviously know what happened. You know how he got drafted by the Browns and everything else. And I hate to time stamp this episode, but I couldn't let this one go by. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
just too big.
absolutely, absolutely.
Go by. So, I'm sorry. I'm apologizing to myself later. I probably regret that I did this, but it had to be done.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
There it is. There it is. Howie, give me your thoughts, man. Tell me just the Shedeur Sanders situation and your thought process. How it played out, everything.
Well, I was watching the draft, man, like everybody else, catching it when I could, and I, I was in our time doing shows, so I'm looking, going back, man, he didn't get picked up yet. So I'm going back another day. Wow, for real. And then I said, well, I thought like everybody else, like maybe in sport, all right, well, maybe they'll get him again in the second round. By the end of the second round, he should be good. Nothing. Then third, then fourth, and then I said, you know what? I didn't think they were going to draft him, and so
Yeah.
it got to the point to where I said they're not going to draft him. They're trying to. Are we watching a modern day? I'm gonna whip you, and I hate to use these slave terms and all this type, but it's like I'm gonna teach you a lesson type vibe. That's what I got out of it. These are my opinions. Um, I just thought it was like that, and I don't know what's going on with the relationship with the NFL and Deion Sanders. Obviously, that has a lot to do with it. Um, I don't know, man. It's weird. It was definitely some old modern day tie you to the post. You know what I'm saying? And everybody gonna watch this. I'm gonna show you that you're not gonna be who you say you're gonna be. Oh, you're gonna go first in the round, second? No, you're not. And not only that, we're gonna wait for a long time and we're gonna play you out. You built your own area and all this draft room and stuff. Oh yeah, for real. I just felt like it was weak on the NFL's behalf, man. And the way they played that and the way they played him, and then the prank phone call, from the guy's son and all that. It's just, man, it just looks. I mean, man, listen, man. If it looked like a duck, walking like a duck, quack like a duck, it's usually a duck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People try to ignore it because we try to be so politically correct and we try to, look at things objectively and all that, man. But I saw pure hate.
Mm-hmm.
That's my initial thoughts off the top.
Okay. All right. Which basically line up with mine, but I'm gonna jump into this a little bit more in a second. Jay, you give me your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders and how you took it from your perspective.
I mean, Frank, well, I actually wrote about this weekend, right?
Yep.
So for me, what I saw was modern day buck breaking.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah.
It was buck breaking. But it also reminded me that this is a league that's willing to cut off their nose despite their face. They did it with Kaepernick. They did it with anybody else, black, that stands up and says, I'm confident, I believe in myself, and I'm going to get everything that's coming to me, right? That's the resume, right? So to sit and watch a dude who had a 5th overall grade on Mel Kiper's big board, he had a 20th overall grade on Daniel Jeremiah's big board, and that was like the lowest that I saw.
Mm.
And to have this dude go in the 5th round,
That was crazy.
and for you to act like there's nothing to see here, oh nah, man, we were talking, his interviews went this way, went that way, or whatever, and then all these articles pop up from various talking heads saying he needed an agent. He would have done better had he had an agent, if Deion would represent him. So an agent would be better to represent him than his father, who played for 30-something years, basically, and been around it, since he was 20 years old. But on top of that, based upon, your draft order, your salary's already slated. There's nothing for the agent to negotiate. I mean, there's nothing for the agent to do other than bring you ancillary money outside of football, and he already got that. He already got NIL deals. He already has relationships. His father already has corporate relationships. So there's no reason for him to have an agent other than to just give some money away to a person who would do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. You just said it. Money.
You know what I'm saying?
They boys weren't getting a piece of the pie.
That's what it's about.
Right.
They was like, you're not adhering to the standards of how we do stuff. How dare you stand up, and be confident?
How dare you?
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you be confident? Now, I've never in my life ever heard an eval say he's too confident. I've never heard them ever say about an athlete ever in my life, especially at quarterback, saying he's just too confident. So what? You want somebody to shaky back there?
Right.
So that's how I know it's just bullshit. You know what it is, Let it go.
Okay. Now let me give you my, let me just say this first and say this. I try to be as objective as possible. I try not to, obviously go the racism card. I have white folks in my family. I try not to do that. I try to be as fair as possible. But
it is what it is, bro.
In all fairness, if like how, I don't know which one of you said, if it act like a duck, it look like a duck, it's got to be a duck. But so let me throw this out there to both of you guys, and let me just, to be fair, because I don't want people to say, hey, this is bashing, and because I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want to be fair. I want to say, let's start off fair. Do you, either one of you, think that him not participating in the activities such as the Pro Bowl and him not participating, like all the activities and all the draft,
you mean the combine
and the combine, the Senior Bowl, like he didn't participate. Shedeur Sanders didn't participate in one thing that normal draft picks should have participated in.
No, Frank. He did what normal top evaluated draft picks do. They don't throw at the combine. They don't go to the Senior Bowl.
I'm throwing it out there.
That's not what happens.
Okay. I'm throwing it out there. That's why I wanted to ask you guys, do you think, but he also turned down a lot of interviews. He also did. Now, let me, before I even go into that and give you guys more, this is what I think, just, to be clear and correct. To me, it's unadulterated racism to me in any way, shape, or form that you look at it. I'm gonna even throw out some more questions too to try to keep it fair as possible. I think it's racism at its worst point because there's nothing he did that Joe Burrow didn't do. There's nothing he did that Tony Romo didn't do. There's nothing he did. I mean, you go down the list, the quarterback, because Johnny
Manziel, you name it.
Johnny Manziel.
But
actually,
Frank,
Johnny Manziel was worse. You know what I mean?
But Frank, more specifically, Deion didn't do anything that Archie Manning didn't do. He didn't do anything that John Elway father didn't do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Other than be black. That's the only difference in the scenario. That's it.
Yeah. So let me throw it to you, Howie. Let me ask you this last question. We can move on because I want to move on. Ultimately, after I let you guys talk about this one more time, do you think that him not participating at any of these events and by Deion Sanders representing him had something to do with him not getting drafted at all, Howie? Like, what's your take on this? Because I heard that too.
Well, absolutely something to do with it. It definitely, sure it did. But does it make it right? No. I mean, should it have affected his pick? No. I mean, it shouldn't have. I just think they were being petty, and that's just another example of like he was saying, it's buck breaking. Man, you ain't following the rules. You're not doing this, man. You got to get in the middle of the town hall, man. We got to whip you. We got to show you something. That's just a part of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that to me, that's a small part. I don't think it was a major part. I think the biggest part of it all is well, I won't say the biggest, it's kind of probably equal, is the money. And like he didn't follow the rules and follow protocol. You didn't get your agent. Hey man, our boys didn't get a piece of the pie. And you know what? I'm sorry, you can beat this out. You're a nigger.
Mhm.
How dare you? You know what I'm saying? Not do this the way that we have designed this to be done. And not only that, we probably didn't like your dad. You know what I'm saying? Whatever controversy he had going on, because he was an outlaw when he played. You know what I'm saying? He had jury on when he played. He was one of the first ones to wear the jury in sports. You know what I'm saying? When he played, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, he
So
really
so
was.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I remember I watched him play.
Yeah.
And so my thing is, you know, so now his son is here. Now what are y'all mad at? Y'all mad because he didn't turn his son over to y'all? Y'all mad because I heard somebody say that too. He should have cut him loose. Cut him loose.
What are you
Cut
saying?
him loose. What do you mean cut him loose? To do what? Cut him loose to who? To nothing? Like he said, what are they gonna do anything different than what his father can do? He has all the corporate connections. He has all the I mean, what are they gonna do other than take money? So hey, if they're mad at him not participating in those different things like that, to me that's just being pure petty. It's just an excuse. Once again, hey, in your face racism, bro.
Okay, so my question to you, Jason, is how does this look for Deion Sanders moving forward? Do you think that what helped me, you know, obviously unfolded with Shedeur and everything else? Do you think that that's going to make it look like that he's not going to ever coach in the league now because of everything that unfolded in the last 4 or 5 days?
I mean, I've learned never say never, right?
Mhm.
But I know deep down inside, Deion got a petty side to him, bro. So even if they called him to come coach, like if they're always sorry, whatever, he probably wouldn't do it out of spite because he don't need the bread like that. He can stay in Colorado or go someplace else, you know, and still make a living coaching football. But to go to the first question you asked, you know, the Howie answered, it had no bearing not participating because the standard protocol for people to have an evaluation of 5th overall is that we've seen the tape, right? He has 4 years of game tape, 2 years at Jackson State, 2 years at Colorado. He threw for over 14,000 yards in his collegiate career. He led the nation in completion percentage. There's nothing that you need to see that you can't go put the tape on and see what this man did. So what they did is 100% bogus, and anybody that makes any counter argument to that, they either paid to make that argument by the people trying to cover their ass, or they're too goddamn stupid to know what they're looking at.
Yep. Thomas Ward has joined the conversation. T Ward, how you doing,
Easy, T
What's the
Ward.
deal? Like, yeah.
T Ward? We are having this before we dive into the questions, man. I couldn't just jump into this and act like what happened to Shedeur Sanders over the weekend didn't happen. I wanted to address it. So before we move on, and since you just joined the show, I wanted to be fair to you and give you your thoughts on what you think of this, because there's both sides of this. And let me just say this to you: there's both sides, and I'm trying to be as fair as possible, but I'm also leaning a little bit towards the way of everything else. There are people who saying the things he didn't participate in is what hurt him and made him fall into the draft. That's what they're saying on both. They're saying it everywhere. You know, the things he didn't participate in. What's your thoughts on this Shedeur Sanders situation?
Well, he got cut 2 ways because you got to remember quarterback is still a very precious position for the white structure of America. The NFL represents the white structure of America, and they losing that with the black quarterback. You got 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. So he was a victim of his success and his father's success. You know, they had to buck break. They had to put him in his place. You know, like you said, he had the highest completion percentage in the country with the worst offensive line. So where is the question on this dude's ability? There is none. So they wanted to make an example out of him, and probably his father. They didn't even draft his brother. I don't know where his brother falls at as far as talent, NFL talent, but it obviously was some type of message they was trying to send to Deion, even if it goes back to his days when he was playing football. They tried to send a message. You know, the kid, Shedeur, he don't need the money. So he really was a victim of his own success. That's the only thing I can see.
Thank you for that, man. Well said. I appreciate your opinion on that. All right, Howie, let's get the show started, man, and let's get ready to jump into your favorite. The question that we have is your favorite top 5 NFL players drafted, but here's the question, but not in the first round. You know what I mean? So I know you was digging in the crates because I know Howie Bell. That's what Howie Bizzell does. The crates. So Howie, give me your top 5 players, NFL players drafted.
But not in the first round. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start with Travis Kelce. Everybody knows Travis Kelce, great player, Kansas City Chiefs. He was drafted in the 3rd round. How about that? I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy. Remember Brock Purdy?
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, man. 7th round.
Last pick.
Come on, man. Come on with it. So I gotta go with Brock Purdy. And then my number 3, I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry. Enough said. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest backs to ever do it. He went in the 2nd round. And then I'm gonna go with Geno Smith. Like Geno Smith, man. Geno Smith came out in the 2nd round. And my number 1 pick, Tyreek Hill, baby. You know what I'm talking about? Tyreek Hill was in the 5th round coming out. So that's good shit for Shedeur to think about. Tyreek Hill came out in the 5th round, one of the best and fastest in the league.
And every 5 you named, if they were to be redrafted again, they all would be in the first round.
Absolutely.
They all would be in the first round. Okay, Jason, give me your top 5 man picks of favorite picks that your favorite that were not drafted in the first round.
Well, listen, I'm gonna go number 5, and I'm gonna get this out the way because this is gonna show you I'm not a hater. Okay, you gotta have Tom Brady on this list, bro. 5th round pick. He done broke every record there is to break. Super Bowls, you name it, banging supermodels, all that. There's nothing left to do. You know what I'm saying? 5th round pick, that's incredible for him.
6th round pick. 6th round pick.
Was it 6th round? Oh, okay. I stand correct. Even worse, right? I'm gonna go number 4 for me. Jimmy, he should be in the damn NFL Hall of Fame. Smith, wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmy was a 2nd round pick by the Cowboys. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he did nothing. He got hurt. He got sick. Cowboys gave up on him. Jacksonville, you know, brings him in, and he has a Hall of Fame career. I mean, the dude when he retired, what's Jimmy's stats? Jimmy had 862 receptions for 12,300 yards at a time when they weren't even throwing the ball like that. You know what I'm saying? He has almost 13,000 yards, and this dude ain't in the Hall of Fame. I'll leave it alone. Number 3 for me, I'm gonna go Drew Brees. Drew Brees, 2nd round pick, drafted by the Chargers. He didn't really ball out like that. Then he got hurt with the shoulder, and then the Chargers gave up on him. Saints pick him up. He go on. When he retired, he was all-time leading passer in NFL history in yardage.
Yeah.
Plus, he won a Super Bowl for the Aints.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For most of my life, Saints fans wore paper bags over their face at every home game. And this dude won a Super Bowl there. So you got to have him on that list. Number 2, I'm going, with the home team squad. I'm going Brian Dawkins, my high school classmate, basketball teammate. He went late in the 2nd round. In fact, our boy, his best friend, Patrick Sapp, who played quarterback at Clemson, converted to linebacker his senior year, played 1 year at linebacker. He got drafted before Dalk got drafted.
Wow.
And Brian Dawkins is a Hall of Famer, bro. So you got, one of the all-time greatest safeties ever to lace him up in the NFL.
One of them, yep.
And number 1, my new favorite, not drafted in the 1st round, Shedeur Sanders. He's my favorite player not drafted in the 1st round right now because I've never seen somebody get screwed so royally in my life to see his money get played with in such a disrespectful manner. I'm rooting for this dude, man, to tear the league up and charge them boys up $60 million a year. Yeah, and if he don't, so what?
And he's going to too. T. Ward, give me your favorite top 5 NFL players not drafted.
I'm going to stick with quarterbacks. We're going to keep the quarterback theme going. And I was actually surprised when I was researching some of this stuff. Joe Montana. Joe Montana wasn't taken in the first round. That tripped me out. You know, he went to Notre Dame. You know, he was like the media darling at his time and shit. And he didn't go in the first round. That tripped me out. Brett Favre, you know, Hall of Fame career, one of the biggest arms in NFL history. Went to Southern Mississippi. Where the fuck is that? And
Hattiesburg,
you know,
Mississippi.
yeah, he damn near was switched to a whole nother position, and at the last second he became a quarterback, and boom, the rest is history. One of my favorites growing up, Roger Staubach. You know, the media, you know, that was the man. So they made you love who they love. So when I was a kid, you know, I used to roll checking out Roger Staubach. I didn't like Dallas, but I like Staubach and Tony Dorsett.
Right.
Somebody before my time, like I said, keep it quarterback. I was surprised again to see that this dude didn't go in the first round. Bart Starr, you know, a little bit before most of us, but he won several championships in Green Bay. Like I said, I was very surprised he didn't go in the first round. And the GOAT, I know people probably all gonna have him on this list, but he is at the top of my list of undrafted players from the University of Michigan, number 10, 7-time Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady. He's the GOAT of low draft picks. Yeah.
I
Gotta
like
have.
I like your list. I like your list. Let me give y'all mine real fast. Number 5 for me is this is your favorite top 5 players drafted, but not in the first round. For me, number 5 is Julian Edelman. He came in the 7th round. 4 for me is Brett Favre, 2nd round. 3 for me is Joe Montana. He drafted in the 3rd round. 2 for me is Antonio Brown. He got drafted in the 6th round. And you all know I'm rolling with Tom Brady as my number 1 pick. Like that don't make no sense if I don't have Tom Brady on my. Yeah, I gotta have Tom Brady on my list. And here's the crazy thing about this: everybody we mentioned, we all did 5 players. Everybody we mentioned could all go first round if they were going to redo it again. They all would, which is like insane to me. All right,
Top 10.
Yeah, top 10, definitely top 10. So now it's the thing is your favorite top 5 undrafted players, and that's the difference. This one is your favorite top 5 undrafted players. So with that being said, Howie, give me your favorite top 5 undrafted players.
Undrafted players, favorite top 5. My number 5, I'm going with your boy, Wes Welker. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was nice, man. He came out of Texas Tech. You know, he was undrafted, man, wound up becoming one of the best players in the NFL, actually. You know what I'm saying? And did a lot for your squad, for the Patriots, man. I had to put him on there.
And the Dolphins. He was
man. Yeah. And the Dolphins for sure. Tony Romo. Yeah, Tony Romo was not drafted, man. They sent him in there to like the NFL combines to kind of help showcase some of the receivers. Like he wasn't even a part of it.
This guy.
So, yeah. He was like, go ahead and throw the ball to these guys we're looking at. And they wind up, taking interest in him, and Dallas picked him up. So that was pretty good, man. I didn't know that story behind him.
But Howie, real quick, you know why they brought him in? Because top prospects don't throw at the goddamn combine.
Right. Dang, to your point. You're right. Your point. You're good listener. There you go. Yeah. There you go. You are absolutely correct on that point. About Shooter. All right, so check this out. So then I got Antonio Gates from the Chargers. That's right. Detroit, baby. Undrafted. Man, he came in. Actually, he wanted to play basketball first.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to play basketball, and it didn't really work out for him. And he wound up getting, working out, man, and playing and for the Rams. I mean, for the Chargers, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? And he's became Hall of Famer. I think did he make the ballot yet?
He in.
Yeah.
This class.
So that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? For him to do that, undrafted and go to the Hall of Fame is incredible. So that's 3. Number 4, I'm gonna go with my man. I like this guy, man, Jeff Saturday. He wound up being the president of the NFL Players Association too. I think at one point became a coach briefly. He wasn't really good as a coach, but you know what? He wasn't drafted. He wasn't drafted at all. Actually, he got signed. He wasn't drafted with the with Baltimore, and then they cut him before the season even started. And then he went and worked at an electrical shop and was like managing some, some old Ace Hardware type spot. You know what I'm saying? And then the Colts picked him up in '99, and boom, you see what happened. His tandem, with Manning, and the rest is history. So I had to give him that. That's a pretty dope story. And last one, I'm gonna say, man, this guy, and I didn't know this about his name is Larry Little. He went to Bethune-Cookman, HBCU. How about that? He came out in 1967 and signed with the Chargers. They left him alone. Boom. In 69, he got picked up by the Miami Dolphins, and he became a part of that undefeated Miami Dolphin historical team, which holds that record still to this day. And he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
My man, digging in the crates. Jason, again, give me yours. Top 5 undrafted NFL players.
Well, I'm going to keep it on the HBCU thing. I didn't mention it. Jimmy Smith also went to Jackson State, HBCU. So number 5 for me is Nate Newton out of Florida A&M University. Listen, Nate played 14 seasons, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. And he was on the Dallas Cowboys, 3 Super Bowl winning teams, and paved the way for Emmitt Smith a lot of the way to have him be the all-time leading rusher in the NFL. So for me, you got to have Big Nate on there. Undrafted. Number 4, I'm going to go with Antonio Gates because, listen, the dude played 13 seasons.
Yep.
8 Pro Bowls, 3-time All-Pro, and he was a basketball player in college. Come on, bro. That's unheard of, man. I mean, I ain't never heard anybody doing nothing like that. In the modern era?
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Kurt Warner. Because I remember the Rams had just signed what's his name? Trent, whatever his name is, the quarterback.
Trent Green.
Trent Green from Kansas City to come to St. Louis to be the quarterback. And all of a sudden, when the season started, you heard about this dude playing arena football, beating him out. Kurt Warner went undrafted, playing arena football, bouncing all over the place. He had about 11 kids at that point, so he was starving at that point too. And out of nowhere, this dude comes on and has a Hall of Fame career. That's crazy.
Yeah. How embarrassing is that for the QB too? You lose to a dude who's stacking groceries. Like, that's embarrassing.
But listen, he had eyes too, Frank. He was in them practices. He saw Kurt spinning that thing. Number 2, I'm gonna go John Randall. John Randall is one of my favorite players ever. He's just so funny. He be saying ridiculous stuff. He was Aaron Donald before Aaron Donald. That undersized defensive tackle, just quick and strong as hell. Yeah. Get in there, John Randall played 11 seasons, 137.5 sacks as a defensive tackle. That's 6 feet tall. Right? That's crazy. And number 1 for me, Warren Moon. Warren Moon wasn't even drafted. He actually had to go play in Canada for 6 years because he wanted to be quarterback. They wanted, to convert him to another position. They said, if you insist on playing quarterback, we're not drafting you. So he said, fine. Went to Canada, spun it up there, came back, Hall of Fame career in the NFL.
And won a championship in Canada. Don't forget to say that part. He won a championship.
Oh, yeah. No, he won multiple. Yeah.
Yeah, championship in Canada. Then they considered him. T. Ward, give me your top 5 undrafted players.
Boom. My number 5 is James Harrison. Played for Pittsburgh Steelers. Dude was a beast. They kept cutting him. He kept coming back. They kept cutting him. He kept coming back, and he had probably the greatest defensive play in Super Bowl history on that interception return for a 100-yard touchdown. Warren Moon, also on my list, because that was the first college football game I watched as a kid on my black and white TV. They was playing Michigan against Washington in the Rose Bowl, and I was like, wow, black quarterback. I never saw a black quarterback, And he was amazing then, and still to this day, the most beautiful spiral, the most beautiful pass release. Next to him and Dan Marino got the 2 most beautiful releases I ever seen in the ball. Somebody same list. I was expecting Howie to have it. He did. Antonio Gates. I'm a hooper. So I watched the dude almost take a Mid-American team, Kent State. I went to Eastern Michigan, so I always pull for the Mid-American teams. Watched them damn near take them to the Final Four. If dude was 2 inches taller, he would have been Larry Johnson. Jake Delhomme, no special reason except for I like calling him Jake Del Homie because that's what they call him on the Boondocks. Jake Del Homie. You know, he was undrafted. He got him to the Super Bowl. They lost, but yeah, Jake Del Homie did his thing until he ran into Tom Brady. And the GOAT of undrafted players, Kurt Warner, speaks for itself, had the perfect football season. And honorable mention, I'm going to get to John Randall, like Jay, because John Randall, I met him and he was cool as hell. And yeah, he was super cool, dude. And yeah, I liked his game too. So yeah, him and Lawrence Taylor was the scariest two dudes in the NFL when I was growing up.
Yeah,
So
they definitely were. Let me give you all mine real fast. I think there's some crossover here. The list is your favorite top 5 undrafted NFL players. For me, number 5 is Warren Moon. 4 for me is James Harrison. 3 for me, also Antonio Gates. 2 for me, Wes Welker. And number 1 for me is Kurt Warner. So we definitely had a lot of crossover there with, we all thinking the same thing of players that we saw who were, undrafted. Now it's time for the top 5 trades of your favorite team in any sport. That sort of is NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, anything, So Howie, give me your top 5 trades of any sport.
All right, well, I got to go with the Pistons first. You already know that in the spirit of what's going on right now, talking about. All right, so the Detroit Pistons in 2002, they signed Chauncey Billups as he was a free agent, man. He was on a bunch of different teams before he got there. He was on a bunch of different teams before he got there, actually. But they signed him as a free agent. And he wound up being, of course, the MVP and leading them to the finals, winning the finals in 2004. And they went back to the finals in 2005. So I got to go with the Pistons again with Rasheed Wallace because guess what? The Detroit Pistons got him in 2004, which made kind of complete everything, which made that championship possible. She got over there, man. He got over there, and they did a 3-team deal or something like that, and they got him in. We gave up Bob Sura and a 1st-round pick. So, and that was with to let them absolutely completed everything with them going to the finals and winning. Detroit Tigers. We got Miguel Cabrera in 2007. Man, I remember when he came to Detroit. That was big time. And, we got a few triple crowns and some MVPs while he was in Detroit. He was big time. And, of course, I think they retired his jersey, if I'm not mistaken, here in Detroit already. You know what I'm saying? But Miguel Cabrera, Detroit. Oh, man, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's 3. Then I got... In 1989, we got to go back to the Pistons. We got Mark Aguirre in 1989, and he helped us get a championship at that time. Mark Aguirre came to Detroit. Absolutely, man. We traded Adrian Dantley for Mark Aguirre. You know what I'm saying? So that was how he became a part of that whole Bad Boys thing early in the game. And then my last one, I would say I got to go with, old school. That's what I'm going to go with. I got to go back to Detroit Tigers in 1960. We traded for Norm Cash. We acquired Norm Cash from Cleveland, and he went on to be it was one of baseball's most lopsided deals, they said. And he played 15 seasons for the Tigers. He was a 4-time All-Star and helped Detroit win the 1968 World Series. Norm Cash, 1960.
I like that list. All right, so Jay, give me your list, your top 5 trades.
Okay, for me, Moses Malone to the Philadelphia 76ers, monumental for me. Because Philly was always that team that was there and they couldn't get over the hump, Moses, Mr. 444 Malone came in, all of a sudden, we slapping we slapping the shit out of Boston. We beating the hell out of LA. You know what I'm saying? Everybody lining up, they up out of there. That's one of my favorite trades ever. Number 4, now starts, the Florida segment of this discussion. Number 4 for me was the Jaguars trading for Mark Brunell from the Green Bay Packers.
I remember that.
Like going into the 95 draft, they traded a draft pick and 2 players to get the rights to Mark Brunell. And you saw what happened after that, because in their first full season in 96, they beat the number 1 seeded Denver Broncos in Denver and made it to the AFC Championship game in their first year of existence in the NFL. And Mark lit it up for for about 8 seasons. Jimmy Smith got those stats for a reason. Number 3, in terms of my favorite trade, I'm gonna go the Jacksonville Jaguars this year trading with Cleveland for the rights to take Travis Hunter. Duval County deserves nice things, bro. And I'm happy to see a GM that's finally in that position that understands that. Travis Hunter coming to Jacksonville is one of my most exciting moments ever in recent years. Number 2, LeBron James going to the Heat, baby. Technically, it was a free agent, but it was a sign and trade deal, to get him down to Miami. So that was the first time that we had like a run of like 4 straight NBA finals. And you saw what he did, 2 championships, and they've been the same since he left, but that's all right. And the number 1 favorite trade ever, Miami Heat trading for Shaquille O'Neal from the LA Lakers, because that was the first championship to put Shaq with Dwayne Wade. As a Floridian, we was like, all right, finally we can actually win at basketball. So that was one of the most monumental trades for me in my life.
Let me just add this and say, when Shaq got paired up with Lonzo Mourning, I was like, if they lose, that'd be the biggest travesty. They cannot lose that. You know what I mean? My man T Ward, give me your top 5 trades of your team or teams, any of your teams in any sport.
All right, all mine is Detroit teams. First, I'm gonna start with my because it says your favorite team.
That's
so
right. That's right. I did the same.
All Detroit stuff. I'm like all Detroit. So you might hear some of the same things that Howie said, because we're gonna keep it Detroit, baby. But yeah, so I got the Tigers, Matt Scherzer in 2009. That he was one of the biggest arms, one of the best pitchers. And he was paired with my man Justin Verlander. We had 2 Cy Young Award winners on our pitching staff, and my man the Spanish dude you said earlier. And we still didn't win a world championship. We got there in 1 year, but we didn't win. I'm gonna go with John Smoltz. I don't remember y'all remember John Smoltz played for the Tigers, and we traded him away when he was a little puppy. But the dude we traded him for was like a real good player, Doyle Alexander. He went 9-0 and helped the Tigers win the East that year. So it's not like you can go, damn, that was a fucked up trade, because it worked for them at the time. But of course, John Smoltz went on to be one of the greatest pitchers in history. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You got to win now. So dude helped him win now. Smokes was down the road, so that was good shit. For my hockey fans, my man Brendan Shanahan in '96, when the Red Wings traded for him, he ended up with Steve Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov, and they already won a couple, but then they ran like 3 more. We was the Boston Celtics of hockey for a minute. Damn it! What you know about that, Frank? Damn it. We was the shit. And then of course, there was like a tie. This almost was number 1. It's arguably the greatest trade in sports history. Rasheed Wallace coming to Detroit from Atlanta. I mean, they said he wasn't going to play there anyway. They was going to cut him, so they just said, we're going to go and trade him somewhere. But when they got Rasheed, I said, we going to the championship. I don't know if we're going to win, but we definitely going. That really completed that team. I still wish they would have drafted Carmelo. They fucked up when they didn't draft Carmelo. We probably would have won a couple more. Miami wouldn't have won their championship, and a couple other people might not have won. So whatever. And the trade, wasn't a trade of players, but the Pistons traded up to number 2 to get the greatest sports hero in Detroit history to this day, Isaiah Thomas. I think they were supposed to pick like 5th or 6th. They traded up to number 2. They got Zeke. Rest is history.
I like your list. I like your list.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I like your list. Yeah. That's what I like about this show. Y'all be digging in the crates and I be learning stuff. I like that. I like that. All right, let me give you my 5 because I should have did it all Celtics because that was what the question was. I just didn't. I'm gonna get to that in a second. 5 for me, obviously, was what you all had with all this Detroit stuff. With Justin Verlander traded to the Astros from Detroit, comes in at 5. 4 for me is Luka Doncic get traded to the Lakers. You know what I mean? Number 3 for me was Kurt Schilling to the Boston Red Sox. That was a huge trade at the time. Number 2 for me was when the New England Patriots traded for Randy Moss for a cup of soda, for a cup of, a cup of anything. He got traded for basically nothing. You know what I mean? From the Raiders. And number 1 for me was got to be when the Boston Celtics traded for Kevin Garnett. That was like a huge trade, and I didn't see that coming. But things happen, so it did. Now I want to jump into the top 5 most impactful trades in any sport. The difference is this is where we asking you, like, what your top 5 that it was like a landscape thing changed. Like, you know what I mean? Like it reverberated throughout the entire sport. So Howie, I'm gonna let you go first. Give me your top 5 most impactful trades to you that had ultimate impact on the sport.
Man, I was a big Kevin Garnett fan, so I got to start with him. You know what I'm saying? Because when he got traded from Minnesota, you know what I'm saying, to Boston, I was like, oh, that like T-Wo, you know how you felt? Well, somebody would say that Alonzo Mourning and
Shaq.
And Shaq. When that's kind of how I felt when Garnett went to Boston. I was like, they gotta win. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that was impactful, and they wound up winning in 2008. So that was a really good. That was a trade I thought that was big. Kobe Bryant to the Lakers in 1996. I don't know if a lot of people know he was playing for the Charlotte Hornets, and they drafted him. That was the dumbest trade. I mean, they should have never traded him, man. They traded him. Listen, they say right here, the Charlotte Hornets traded Bryant's draft rights to the Los Angeles Lakers for Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
Do you know how stupid that is? Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? So I got to have him on my list. Marshall Faulk to the Rams.
From the Colts. Yeah.
From the Colts. Man, when he left them, he became part of that whole thing with Kurt Warner and the greatest show on turf and all that, man. They were unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? And of course, wind up winning the Super Bowl. So I had to put him on my list, man. Well, it was one of the greatest trades ever. I got to go with Babe Ruth to the Yankees, the Boston Red Sox. The Boston Red Sox traded in 1919. They traded Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees, and of course, they traded him for $100,000
in a play.
Yeah, $100,000, and that was the beginning of the Curse of the Bambino and all that stuff. That was the beginnings of all that. And so I got one more. When Brett Favre left the Atlanta Falcons and went to the Green Bay Packers, they traded him to the Packers. That was stupid on the Falcons' behalf. I mean, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Of course, he wound up, becoming a Hall of Famer and a football legend. So that's my list, man, of some of the greatest trades to me in sports history.
Jason, give me your top 5 most impactful trades in any sport.
Impactful.
That just changed the whole thing, changed the game.
Right. So for me, I read it's like impactful. So the big ticket going to Boston was impactful.
That's right.
Because people are forgetting Boston was terrible from Bird all the way through until this happened. They were awful. I mean, they're going through a coach every season and a half. They did nothing. Kevin Garnett to Boston is one of the most impactful trades that ever happened.
Sure. And
they made 2 finals once he got there, only winning one of them.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'm gonna go John Elway being traded from the Colts to Denver because they had 2 very different paths. Once that happened, John Elway went to 5 Super Bowls, man. Like, he established Denver as a legitimate football organization because he was one of those generational talents. And who knows what would have happened for the Colts had he opted to play. I mean, maybe they don't leave Baltimore. I don't even know what would have happened with that,
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Milwaukee trading Lou Alcindor, aka Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, to the LA Lakers. Because
Man,
the
I don't know
the Lakers had what one championship, when he arrived.
that was
And what's
huge.
crazy about it, he won a championship in Milwaukee. Got
Yeah,
traded to the Lakers
he
and
did.
went on to win five championships with the Lakers, and retired as the NBA all-time leading scorer. It don't get more impactful than 5 championships, bro.
Right.
Number 2, how we on the same wavelength. Kobe Bryant for Vlade Divac.
I mean,
Now, granted, Kobe was a high school phenom, you know what I'm saying, and you don't know what he's gonna be. Listen, people forget Vlade was an established,
He was.
legitimately good center.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Who won championships? Played on championship teams. Let me say that. So Jerry West saw something that other people didn't. Now people forget. Kobe was the 13th pick, bro.
That's right.
He was barely a lottery pick. So a lot of people really didn't see it. And Jerry West fleeced them boys, man. And the number 1 trade, it kills me, most impactful trade, Shaquille O'Neal from Orlando to the Lakers. Because that led to a 3-peat and a 4th straight finals appearance.
That's
Gentleman's
right.
sweep by the Pistons. But that changed the Lakers' fortunes in so many ways, man. I mean, it gave Kobe a chance, to develop, and it just put him under a lot. Impact, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, very impactful. Very impactful. T Ward, give me your most impactful trades in any sport. Give me your 5.
Well, I get a lot of time to think about it since I keep going last. So here I go right here. Wayne Gretzky to the Kings. People don't realize nobody even gave a shit about hockey on the West Coast. I think the Kings are the only West Coast hockey team. Nobody even knew about hockey out here. When Gretzky came out here, it was like during the height of like Showtime. And so they was just like, yo, we about to really push hockey on the West Coast. And that was a huge impact right there. Because like I said, nobody even gave a fuck about hockey on the West Coast until Gretzky got out here. Herschel Walker to Minnesota, the slaviest trade I've ever seen. They gave this dude up. Damn it, dog. They gave this dude up. He got for like 20 draft picks. They was getting 1st-round draft picks from Minnesota for about 5 years off of that damn trade.
That's right.
I'm gonna kill
That
his
dog
ass,
is killing you.
Matt Stafford to the Rams. It was like, damn, Detroit, y'all ain't gonna give him no help. God damn it, dog. Y'all ain't gonna give him no help. Damn, let him go somewhere where he can win. So the Rams, they were smart enough to pick the dude up, and they instantly won a championship. It was just like, my next one, Rasheed Wallace. You just add the right player, and then boom, your organization is a success. Somebody looks good in the GM office, you win a championship. And number 1 impact trade, Luka. Luka. I mean, damn, that was one of the biggest trades in NBA history. So, I mean, it hasn't amounted to shit yet, especially with tonight coming. But that was that's
I don't know about that one yet.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't know about that one
The
yet.
jury is still out.
The jury's still out, but it was a huge trade. It was people would now that really sent shockwaves because everybody.
It was big. It was big.
Everybody's like, damn, they traded Luka. And the Dallas, they all want to lynch that damn GM. They don't give a damn. They don't care. They want to lynch that GM.
But let's be fair. That GM now has let Brunson walk and Luka Doncic walk. So yeah, bro. That dude.
But listen, I'm not so sure that letting Luka walk was the worst decision because
I don't either.
y'all kept telling me, Frank, you kept laughing when I told you Luka can't hold me under 25 right now.
Listen, I was agreeing with you, bro. I even put it on Facebook.
He can't hold me under 25 right now.
He don't play defense.
He can't play no D, bro.
Those Euros can't play defense unless it's my man from the French guy. A couple French players they play a little defense, but the other Euros, the Euros, they don't really play no defense.
Nah, they don't. Let me give you my top 5 most impactful. I'm saying that right there. Most impactful seismic shifts. 5 for me. Coming in at number 5 is Marshawn Lynch when he got traded to the Seahawks from the Bills, because ultimately when that happened, he changed the whole Seahawks offense. Because then at the time when that happened, obviously they had just drafted Russell Wilson, and we saw how that came out. Let's see, number 4 for me was something that's very dear to my heart, is when Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce was traded to Brooklyn, and that trade to Brooklyn was enabled the Celtics to ultimately give them Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. People don't know that, but let me just throw that out there so we understand.
I do.
How impactful that was at that time. Even though at the time I was like, "Why are they doing it?" I was almost crying. Now, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, excited to see you wave them. Y'all, thanks, bye. That's where I'm at now. Number 3 for me, very impactful, which nobody mentioned. Which I'm shocked that y'all do your homework and stuff. Was the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers that got vetoed? You know what I mean? That was very impactful because nobody even thought of. Wait a minute, the NBA can revoke trades. Like, I didn't know we could do that either until that happened. And then when it happened, we were like, oh, okay. So when NBA says that they have to approve, they really got to approve because they vetoed that trade. Chris Paul was supposed to go to the Lakers. He ended up with the Clippers, but 2011, we all had to accept that. Number 2 for me, Mookie Betts traded to the Dodgers. It made the Dodgers be what they are now, and it hurt my Boston Red Sox. I'm still trying to recoup for that. But the number 1 for me, most impactful trade was Jason Tatum for Markelle Fultz in 2017. That trade happened during the draft. You know what I mean? And I was so happy. I probably was the only person happy because I didn't see Markelle Fultz as that dude, and everybody did. I was like, he ain't the dude. He's not that dude. But everybody, all my boys were like, he is. He ultimately not ended up being that dude. So there we are with that. Now let's get ready to dive into this. This is something we all wanted to talk to you about for a couple of days, right? With the top 5 best cities to host the NBA All-Star Game. How you got to give me your top 5? Being that you're a traveling comic, man, you got to tell me your top 5. You got to tell me why.
Well, it's hard, but it's not really that hard to do this because these top 5 are probably obvious. You know what I'm saying? But these are all great cities, man. New Orleans, Louisiana, baby. That's one of the. I don't even know. This ain't even no order right here. But New Orleans, this got to be one of the best cities to ever host anything, and especially the All-Star Weekend. And it's like a. Well, if you're a young man and you're hanging out and you enjoy yourself, any All-Star Weekend is fabulous for you. You get all the amenities. The world comes to you. Young man, remember that. But New Orleans is one of the best. Of course, the food is incredible, and of course, they always do a good job of hosting any sporting event. I got to go with Vegas. You already know Las Vegas, man. That's really pretty much a no-brainer. They got everything you need. I mean, endless hotels, endless entertainment. Endless, everything you want. Of course, the food is absolutely incredible there. Nightlife, comedy life, whatever you want, magic shows. You can do a lot while you're there, and they host absolutely incredible events. And they've hosted the All-Star Weekend. Has been incredible. So that's 2. Miami, Florida is always good to host an event of this magnitude. Of course, the All-Star Weekend. Of course, you got South Beach, and you got everything that comes with that. Of course, pretty women, white sand. Sunshine, Miami is really a nice place. Nightlife there is incredible. Drinks are fairly good. You can get your Mai Tai going and all that stuff. All-Star Weekend in Miami is always great. And 4, I got to go to New York. Got to put New York on that list. New York, whenever they did that at the Madison Square Garden, it's always been incredible. It's always endless things to do in New York. Of course, it's not, it's not the beach. You know what I'm saying? Or it's not, the West Coast, you know what I'm saying? But it is, a lot of things to do in it. But if you don't like that city, you might not like New York, but it's always been awesome to host, All-Star. And then my last one, I'm going to say, let's take this personal because I performed at the All-Star Weekend here. And this is when I really kicked it with Shaq. And I told the story before, and that is Toronto, Ontario. And that was an incredible All-Star Weekend that I did. And, oh, man, I mean, I can't say enough about it. The city was beautiful. The food was incredible in Toronto. Just was absolutely good. The hospitality, everything like that. Great city, man, and they deserve to be on my top list for, All-Star Weekend city, best All-Star Weekend cities.
Okay, so with that being said, Jay, give me your top 5 cities to host the NBA All-Star game.
Well, to quote Don Magic One, the Quatorro is, for me, I wanted it to be a city that would love basketball, like they just be enraptured, like they really appreciate having it, right? And since I was in Philadelphia when they hosted it, I can tell you without fear of contradiction, the people traveling All-Star Weekend is about 97.8% Negro, right? So it got to be a black people friendly kind of situation, right? So number 5 for me, even though the weather would suck in February, I'm going Detroit. I think Detroit would be an incredible host, man. I think the city would just open their arms, everybody up in there, man. People would just like so appreciate it, man. Everybody would be welcome, and it'd be a great experience overall. Number 4, I'm gonna go Houston. Houston's is spread out, it's real nice, and they got them things down there, bro. You know what I'm saying? So the All-Stars, they're gonna love the experience. The weather's gonna be nice in Houston, in February. So I think Houston would be a great host. Number 3, you gotta go LA, man. That's what they do. They entertain, palm trees gonna be out, the club's gonna be doing what they do, the private party's gonna be jumping off, it's gonna be great. Number 2, I'm going Atlanta. Because how can you not go Atlanta with a bunch of black folks, man? That's all they got down there. And the strip clubs is cracking. I'm sorry. Strip club Wings is cracking down there. You know what I'm saying? That's everybody go to get. And number 1, just like Howie again, I'm going Miami. Miami, dude, it's February. It's going to be 75 in Miami, bro. Yeah. So anybody traveling from anywhere, they about to get the sun, they about to get the beaches, and Miami is the birthplace of strip club culture, man. That's where it started. Uncle Luke, Poison Clan, all them boys, man. That's where it started. So you definitely gonna be able to get entertained while you down
there. I like his list, and I don't like his list from a distance. I don't know what else he's talking about. T-Ward, as a married man,
Diddy was living down there.
Yeah, as a married man, I'm reading these. I'm sticking to the sentence. I'm sticking to the thing. Go ahead, T-Ward. Tell me yours. Oh, hold on, T-Ward. Hold on. Keep going. Go ahead, T.
LA, of course. LA. I live out here. Been living out here for 30 years. This place is built for All-Star game for big ass events.
How many times have you been there, T-Ward? Because it's been there a lot.
I don't know, but every time it's here, it's like they be like, "Why don't we just do it here every year?" They be like, "We just should do it here every year." What the fuck? so then like I said, you got all the stars, man. It's the sky's the limit when it's here in LA. Now, some of these next picks, there are reasons and there are certain years that I'm going to pick, particular years. Like my next one is Oakland in 2000. Oakland in 2000, that's where Vince Carter, that was one of the most exciting All-Star games I've seen the whole weekend. You had Vince Carter with the amazing dunks that he did that year. Plus, me and Howie and our group was in Aspen, Colorado that year at the Aspen Comedy Festival. So I remember us all watching the All-Star game there. We had to stop to watch the All-Star to watch the dunk contest. Yeah. I think how we had a show and we stopped. They had to wait to watch the dunk contest. And our manager Marcus King was mad because he was from Oakland and he had events going on, but he had to be there at the Aspen Comedy Festival with our group, the other level. So that was funny. The next place would be New Orleans. New Orleans, not for none other reasons like Howie said, but for the 304s, the 304s is down there, and they're gonna be in effect. They going hard. The NBA is there. They done went from Houston, from Atlanta. They done went from everywhere to land right there at the 304s in New Orleans. My next one is Toronto. Toronto, because it's international, and I do remember how he saying he had a great time back in the day when he did go. He told me about the exciting weekend he had. Plus, Toronto, no child support. NBA players get a chick pregnant in Toronto, they ain't got to pay no child support. They can leave that baby right there. And it's gonna be hard for them to come in the country with Trump ass in there. They ain't gonna. I bet you can't come here. You can't come here. Stay your ass right over there. No child support. My number one is Las Vegas 2007. Let me tell you something. What Jay was saying. It's like a black convention of sorts. Black people is coming from everywhere, and black people tore Vegas up. White people are still traumatized from 2007. If you start talking about basketball and the All-Star game with white people in Las Vegas, I was there for 7 years opening for Eddie Griffin. They start getting a tick. They'd be like, "Oh man, it was just so much happening." Everything they say is a euphemism. It was too many niggas here. It was over 300,000 more niggas than Vegas was capable of handling. People was getting robbed, beat up, gang fights, shootouts. Floyd Mayweather was throwing money. I mean, it was like it just turned. We turned Vegas into Sodom and Gomorrah. They are still scarred from the 2007 All-Star game in Las Vegas to this day.
I like y'all.
So T Ward and Howie, I forgot to mention the only downside, to Detroit, even though y'all would love it, Trick and them gonna get paid, bro.
Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be so.
Trick and them gonna be out there doing what they gotta do.
Hey, if it's on a weekend where it's 7 degrees outside, people gonna be mad as hell. That's the only reason why I probably ain't in Detroit yet.
It's cold. Yeah.
Because they get cold as fuck in December. February. But it would be a hell of a place though to have the All-Star game. It would be a great place.
That's if they don't cancel it, because right now, as bad as the All-Star stuff has been, they having talks with. Well, the last time I checked, they changed that whole thing about they going back to the East versus West. But before they made that decision, they having talks about canceling it. So,
well, they need to try it in some other cities that they're not used to having it in, like Detroit. They should.
It's not about the city. It's not about it's the events. You know what I mean?
I understand that, but I think if you had a different energy, like Detroit would, just like you saw the NFL draft last year, it was. Detroit, they rolled it out, man. Detroit, they very receptive to
but that's the only thing though, man, it's the weather. Though that was during the summertime. That's why the Super Bowl hasn't been back too. You know what I'm saying? Because even though we got the dome, that weather, it snowed bad during the Super Bowl last time.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we gonna wrap this up. Howie Bell, to everybody out there, how they can follow you, bro.
Hey man, Howie Bizzell, HOWIEBIZZELL. And I'm going this Thursday. I'll be my man Keith Cook in Toledo, Ohio, man. I apologize for not knowing the venue name, but I will get back to y'all and let y'all know tomorrow night. Hey, man, Howie Bell, put me in the search bar and just find me, man. Look out for me. Go Pistons.
Yeah, I like that he threw that Go Pistons in there. You see that? T Ward, tell everybody else how they can follow you, bro.
You can check me out, T Ward Comedy TV, on both TikTok and Instagram. And don't forget to watch The Closers, #1 rated on Tubi TV. And this weekend on the B.D. Freeman Show on Radiant TV, we have the Black Power Ranger, Walter Jones. It's our third episode on Radiant TV, the B.D. Freeman Show. Check it out. Walter Jones. Next week is going to be Angie Means, y'all. Check us out.
I like her. Jason Hayes, filmmaker. How we follow you?
Follow me at JD Hayes at Fanbase. I'm out there.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Thanks to all of you all for participating. Thank you all for watching. We're going to come back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We're going to do this 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This is what we do. The show's called Box Seats. We're on the Humor Mill channel. You could listen. You could Google us. We're on a whole lot of streaming platforms and everything else. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
All right, good brothers. Peace.